Well. We are 3 games into the season, and already some of the fans, Bryan, are calling for their coaches to be sacked. In particular, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a coach of Manchester United, and Stuart Baxter of Kaizer Chiefs. Bryan, do you think it's fair for the fans to say these coaches should be axed? I mean, we are 3 games into the season. Is it really fair to start saying these coaches are not good enough for these teams?
Everyone has their own opinion, but I think it's too early to say, because I'm sure these coaches, they planned with their teams and their boards and stuff prior to the season. This is our objective. This is what we're going to try to do. So get these players for me. It's too early. I'd say if you go through a long run, like maybe a month without a win, then we can start talking about it.
Okay, I mean, let's start with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I mean, he's done very well. Brought in Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, that is. Brought in Rafael Varane. He's built a very good team. I mean, there's depth now in Man United, and mixed with experience, players like Ronaldo, like we mentioned, and there's up-and-coming players like your Greenwoods and things like that. And everyone now looks at that Man United team and say, wow, this could be the best team in the world. Is it fair to say, let's sack the person who built the team? I mean, if you look at the game they lost against Young Boys, it was a red card, and it was a silly mistake from Jason Lingard in the last minute. Can we really blame the coach for that defeat?
I think he has a part. We have to blame him for a part of the game, because when Wan-Bissaka gets sent off, it's still like an hour to play.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to, as a coach, get the best out of that situation and try and still win the game. We saw when Tuchel went down to 10 men against Liverpool, he was brilliant in the second half. He still kept Lukaku in the game. They were still attacking the game, but Ole is lost for ideas. When he comes up against a tough situation like this, you could see his flaws as a coach. It starts to show.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, Bryan, that some parts, yes, maybe you can blame the coach. But as far as going, saying Ole out now, I think for me it's still immature and all of that. Give the guy a chance. He's built a really good team. I think Man United now in all departments, they're very strong. Yeah, it was just an unfortunate thing to get a red card first half. And I mean, you have your player passing a ball to a striker to just literally tap in the last minute. Now let's talk about Stuart Baxter, Bryan. I mean, look at his form this season. A 2-2 draw in 90 minutes against Mamelodi Sundowns. He goes on, he draws against TX Galaxy. He beats Baroka, and then he loses to Mamelodi Sundowns. I mean, so far, he's lost 1 game in 90 minutes, and that was against the defending champions, Mamelodi Sundowns. And you look at a Baxter that has signed, or took a team that has just signed 9 players this season. So was it going to be easy it was definitely not going to be easy for him to come hit the ground running and beat teams like Mamelodi Sundowns. So is it fair to start saying Baxter is not the good coach for Kaizer Chiefs after just losing 1 game in 90 minutes, and it was against the defending champions? What's your assessment?
I think it's not fair, because you're saying, there's a lot of new players that have come in. So they need to start gelling as a team, start understanding each other, how each other play, and then give the coach a proper chance, at least a run of 10 games, and then you assess it again and then take it from there again. Yeah,
I mean, you look at the new signings the Chiefs made, and Baxter instantly put in guys like Tuhlanti is an international player. We've seen him at Bafana representing the national team, as well as Keegan Dolly. Those are international players. You can just throw them into the team. But guys like Abo Tabani Dube, guys like Abo Njabulu Ngobo, Baxter is taking his time with those players. Is it also a good thing to start panicking and saying, oh, Baxter doesn't like this one? I mean, there's only 4 games that have been played. Is it right to start judging and saying the coach doesn't like this player after 4 games? Is it not too early?
Well, the coach has a reputation for not backing young players. I think it was a tough week for Dube, especially. But as a young player, you should just keep going for it, keep fighting. Your first game was against the defending champions. 4 times back-to-back champions. So it's a high benchmark to just throw him in that game, but he learned from it. And Baxter is going to be there for him. I'm not sure when he's going to get his opportunity again, because guys like Njabulu Ngobo is pushing for their gaps as well. So we'll just have to wait and let it play out and see. Yeah,
I mean, and the young, I mean, it's saying you are young, I mean, the league, it's more like inexperienced player at a top flight, because we know Dube. Yes, as much as, I mean, he's like 26, 27, He's not a youngster, but he's done very well at the NFD. However, he has never played top flight football. So yeah, we can really say he's young in top flight football. So he's still inexperienced. That's the correct word, maybe. And we look at Unjabulu Ngcobo, Bryan. I mean, it's up against the Royal AM now, a newly formed. Well, it's not a newly formed team, but it's a team that took over Bloemfontein Celtic, and they formed part with the last season's Glad Africa Championship Royal AM. So there's still also a mix there in that team. There you can see that they're not ready as yet. To compete in the top flight. As much as they've gotten their first win against Chippa United, I'm still not convinced with them. So is it fair now to say, okay, Baxter, here's an opportunity for you to start a guy like Njabulu Ngcobo? I mean, it's not like you're playing Sundowns now where you needed to have like 5 defenders because you're up against your Zwanes and your Shaluliles. Is this the perfect game for Baxter to introduce Njabulu Ngcobo?
I'd like to think so. I think you'd play him, like earlier we were saying Chiefs needed time for their players to gel and stuff. So Royal AM are also going through that phase now.
Exactly, yeah.
So this is a perfect game to play in Njabulu Ngcobo.
Yeah, I also think, it's a perfect time. Game number 5 of the season for Kaizer Chiefs. You then start Njabulu Ngcobo, maybe with Thabani Dube, and you can keep Ukato. So, you've still got that element of experience, that element of Uhlanti also 5 games into the season. Come Friday, he will know how to perform and how to guide the guys. So it's not like just throwing the new players in. So I think maybe now is the time for Stuart Baxter. But in terms of saying Baxter and Ole should be sacked, I say no. Let's give the 2 coaches a chance and see how they do. I mean, it's still a very long season. They've signed very good players, Bryan.
Yeah.
So let's give them a chance and see how they finish. Just 1 season at least, and see how they go on about. Where do you think, Bryan? Let me throw you in the deep end. Where do you think Man United will finish the season?
Man United are winning the league.
Man United are winning the league, says a very confident Bryan Naicker there. So that's it from me and Bryan Naicker, who's very, very confident, saying Man United will win the league. I know I also tipped Man United to win the league, and so far they've done very well. I mean, we see Chelsea also is up and coming, and Man City is there. So it's going to be an interesting season. Let us know what you think about Stuart Baxter and Ole Solskjaer. So for now, myself, Banele, Pikwa, and Bryan Naicker, we say sharp. See you next week.
For more soccer betting tips and previews, get the latest copy of Soccer Betting News for only 10 Rand at your nearest Hollywood Bets branch or news agents.